Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm showing you guys how to play Lifeline. Lifeline is one of the easiest legends to play, but one who is often misplayed, and today I'm showing you guys all of the huge mistakes Lifeline players make and how to improve on those and learn how to master Lifeline, because it's really not that hard. I'll have a pinned comment down below with any new changes in the following seasons with Lifeline. And also, if you guys want to learn how to master any other legends, I have a whole playlist full of videos just like this one. But without any further ado, let's get into this video. First off, we're going to be looking into Lifeline's Passive and how to best use it. This is Lifeline's best and most useful ability, as she can revive her teammates with a drone that also has a shield, and honestly I think it's one of her best abilities by far, because it's one you can actually use fast and effectively in fights, and it is often why teams with lifelines win more fights. But comment what you guys think down below. As I mentioned before, it puts out a gun shield, and it is also good because it reses people a lot faster than normal. When playing Lifeline, you want to try to res your teammates as much as possible, so pretty much whenever they're down, just go and try to res them. But you do want to be careful. If they're in a spot where you're going to get killed, I would not recommend trying to res them. And another big tip I have for you guys is when playing Lifeline, you have to play a lot more passive, and this is actually something that I'm trying to improve on with my Lifeline gameplay, because I'm used to playing people like Revenant, Octane, and Caustic, who are very aggressive legends, and with Lifeline you need to be more passive and be the teammate that lets your team go and out on the front and shoot them, and you just chill back a little bit, because pretty much Lifeline, she's a resing legend, so you want to be able to have your teammates getting knocked, well, preferably not getting knocked, but obviously if they do get knocked, then you're there to save them. And this is how Lifelines win lots of fights, because they play passive, and you'll see a good Lifeline playing passive and winning more fights just like this. You also want to use her drone shield as a cover and dodge in and around it just like a Gibby bubble, and it's just really good because it acts as very good cover when you're reviving a teammate. And often I find myself healing inside of the res bubble because it's just really handy and it's great cover. Now we're going to be moving on to Lifeline's Tactical ability. It's a little drone that you can deploy, and it'll pretty much heal teammates. The only bad thing about this is you're very stationary when using this. You can't really move around too much because the radius of it is really small. Unlike normal heals, which you can move around a lot, you're going to have to stay pretty still when using this. But it does 5 health per second. It has a duration of 20 seconds. It only has a duration of 4 seconds when in zone though, so do be aware of that. And it has a healing radius of 128, which is something you don't really have to pay attention to too much. Lifeline's Tactical is very much a heal saver, as you don't need to carry as much syringes and medkits, but it is only really effective after fights, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. It's pretty slow at healing, but it can be used pretty well if you heal and put a syringe or some shield cells or something on whilst you have that going. Often I like to put down my health drone if I'm very hurt and pop a bat and pretty much just heal up for 4 seconds while the bat goes, and then go straight back in the fight. But as I said before, it's probably best used just after fights because you can't really move around that much with it, and it also, as you see in this clip, it doesn't actually heal you whilst you're doing a finisher. Now moving on to Lifeline's ultimate ability. This is best used early game, as it's good for getting heals and purple armor, which can also give you a huge advantage in early game engagements. It can also give you gold weapons, which is really cool in my opinion. I think it's a really good little buff they gave Lifeline to her ultimate ability, because I felt like before that it was a little bit more useless than it is now, because now you can actually get weapons. Like the other day I got 2 gold longbows from her thing off the bat, which is really good. Now I'm going to be ranking Lifeline compared to other legends and just having a bit of a talk about Lifeline. Lifeline is like no other legend in the way that her passive is actually stronger than her tactical and ultimate ability. I've never seen this with any other legend. Normally an ultimate ability is the best, then a tactical, then passive, but for Lifeline, honestly, I think it's completely the other way around. I think it's the passive is the best, then the tactical, then the ultimate ability. And honestly, as cool as this is, she makes her really unbalanced, because her tactical ability and ultimate ability are just pretty much useless, I find. But her passive ability is way too OP. So I think something I'd like to see in the future with Lifeline is maybe a nerf to her passive ability and some buff or even a rework to her ultimate and tactical ability. So I'd say Lifeline is in the lower half of Legends and Apex Legends because she's really just not got that much going for her. Although in saying that, I do think if you can play her really well and pretty much just play her passive extremely well, you can become a really good Lifeline. And this is where you see pro players just absolutely dominating with Lifeline and people in rank just destroying with Lifeline. And this is why teams can absolutely win a fight out of nowhere with a Lifeline just due to the insane rezzing abilities she has. Another really unique thing about Lifeline is she's probably the best rezzer in the game, along with Mirage, but definitely she's better than him, which makes her really unique. And it also makes her probably the best team player, as well as Loba, who's better for loot, but she's better just for healing and actually helping out a team. But just to go over all the tips I've given you guys, always make sure with the passive, revive teammates, play passive, use cover, play around the shield. With the tactical, use after fights to save heals. It also is the same speed as using a syringe when using the drone, and use a health drone at the same time when using heals. And also with the ultimate ability, make sure to try to use it as much as you can early game, especially on King's Canyon map where you can get the ultimate charger things, whatever they're called nowadays, because this can give you such a good advantage in fights. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's made it to the end of this video. I'm sure you guys will see some improvements with your Lifeline gameplay, and as I said earlier in the video, she's pretty easy legend to play, but a little bit harder for people to actually get really good with, and I think the main thing this comes from is people just not knowing how to use her passive ability and not knowing when to res, and honestly, just res as much as you can with Lifeline. But I just want to say a huge thank you for you guys who've stayed to the end. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys, as it really does help me out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. And if you guys enjoyed that video, make sure to check out these ones.